Just going to throw together a quick video with two activities that I like to do to get the school year off to the best possible start. Now, I think most teachers will already know that when you inherit a new class, the first two things you should probably do are set up some rules and expectations, and then do some kind of fun warm-up icebreaker activity so that you bond with your class. So I'm not really going to talk about those subjects because I think there's already a lot of resources out there with inspiration for those. So if you're doing those two things, then that's great. But I like to do a few other activities on top of that. And the aim of these is to stamp out some of the issues that I find crop up later in the term. The first activity is the letter to the teacher. I've actually just done it with my 10th and 11th graders that I've inherited. And I generally had a nice response from all of my children. I gave them these prompts. Now, I chose these prompts for several reasons. First, I just want the student to feel like I know them as an individual. So I just asked them to provide a quick summary of hobbies and things like that. And the reason why I do this is because it shows that I have an interest in their lives outside of school and I know them as individuals. And I found this works quite effectively this week. So I had this girl and I sensed there was a bit of a bad attitude from her. So I had to really take her to one side and have a chat with her. Now, if I just got angry with her, I think the relationship between me and her would have been damaged, maybe beyond repair quite early on. So I wanted to avoid that. Now, I read in her letter that she was born in the same country as me, the UK. So what I did was, after the class, I sat down with her and I said, Wendy, I see you were born in the UK. Nice to meet a fellow British person. And then we chatted about the UK for a while. And then I changed the subject. So I said, I noticed a bit of an attitude from you. What's wrong? And then we got into the rules. And I found then that she was much more willing to comply because I'd found some kind of common ground to bond with her over. Then I asked them about what they think their strengths and weaknesses are, and also what they like and dislike doing in class. And the reason for this is it will save me a lot of time. I find when I have a new class, I don't really know what my kids are good at and what they're not so good at. And I'll often try out an activity and then you can kind of see the tumbleweeds in the background because the kids don't like learning that way. So if the kids just tell me straight away what they like and dislike doing and what they want to focus on, that saves a heck of a lot of planning time, and I can go straight to the things that they enjoy and value the most. Then, so actually a bit of context, I work in an international school in Colombia, and I've just moved here. So I asked these questions again to try and develop a personal, friendly relationship with the student to get things off to the right start. Because I think if you do have a very strong connection with the students, they're far more likely to respect you and they're far less likely to act up. And then there's the final activity. And actually, when I say activity, I will usually do a whole lesson on this, or maybe even several lessons, because I think this is really valuable. I will teach students about the concept of the growth mindset. So you may be familiar about this concept, and I'm not going to go into loads of detail because, again, there's lots of information out there. But it's basically the idea that there's two kinds of people. There's those with a fixed mindset who believe that their abilities are fixed and can't be changed. And then there's those with the growth mindset who believe that if you work harder and you find new strategies and solutions, you can improve and overcome your weaknesses. And there's even research around the field of neuroplasticity, which shows you can actually kind of increase the amount of connections between neurons in your brain and become smarter. The reason why I like to do this is because I find a lot of misbehavior in new classes comes from kids who maybe already have a bad experience of my subject or already feel like they're kind of a failure at my subject. So I would kind of guess that they've come in with a fixed mindset. So I want to reverse those attitudes very early on in the term and make everyone realize that we don't have fixed abilities. There aren't smart students and dumb students in my class, and that everybody can change and grow if they perhaps change their approach to learning. While in the past, I would just kind of put up a slide saying, this is the growth mindset, this is the fixed mindset, blah, blah, blah. I actually have started dedicating whole lessons to this because I feel like the more you immerse the kids in this subject, the more likely they are to kind of develop this mindset. I actually did a 2-hour session on this with my current students who are aged 15 to 18, and I noticed a really positive response. We started out kind of recognizing what the growth mindset is, the comparing and contrasting the growth mindset and the fixed mindset. And then we kind of made it a bit more challenging. They had to read some statements and identify whether they were fixed or growth mindset. I gave them some fixed mindset statements and they had to rewrite them, imagining that person had a growth mindset. And then I put my kids into different activity stations to kind of increase their understanding. One group listened to a TED talk about the growth mindset. Another group had a discussion about the main challenges they were facing at the moment, and they used the principles of the growth mindset to develop their own strategy and solutions to overcome those problems. Another group went on Canva and they produced a lovely poster with fixed and growth mindset statements. And so we keep that on the wall in the classroom to try and reinforce that the growth mindset is encouraged. And the final group thought about different films and songs which contain growth mindset themes or characters with the growth mindset, and they analyzed the lyrics and maybe the struggles that the characters faced and how they developed a growth mindset to overcome them. So I think if you introduce the growth mindset, you are giving those bad, demotivated students the best opportunity to change their own mindset and their attitude to your subject. And the fact that they know that you promote this mindset could encourage them to develop a more positive approach to your subject. It's also very important that you refer back to it throughout the school year. So every time we do something challenging, so the courses I teach are getting my students through some quite challenging university entrance exams. So when we do something that's a little bit of a struggle and it could result in some tears, I will always remind the students to adopt a growth mindset to get through that activity. Thank you very much for making it to the end of this video. So I am the trial and error teacher. I hope to bring out many more videos sharing my hacks from the classroom. If that interests you, don't forget to like and subscribe. You know it makes sense.